What's good, y'all? Glad to be here in front of y'all again. Now, listen, I was actually going to drop this video yesterday, but it's been it's been so much crazy shit that has happened with this whole situation that it got pushed back to today. But anyway, no, your eyes are not playing tricks on you. The title is real and it's not clickbait. I have no idea what's going on in the city of Atlanta right now, but there is a mass eviction apocalypse going on right now in the ATL, and it is going viral. Places like beauty supply stores, nightclubs, hell, even your cousin's tattoo shop is going under right now, and it's crazy. Take a look.
Right now, we are following breaking news coming out of Clayton County where an eviction is taking place at a beauty store. Take a look at this. This is the scene from 11 Alive Sky Tracker of the Beauty Mart in Riverdale on Upper Riverdale Road. We're told that the Clayton County Sheriff's Office is right now carrying out an eviction. And as you can see, all of the contents from inside the store are now outside, and people have been swarming the area, attempting to take some of those items. We have a crew there who tell us more police cars are arriving on the scene, and that's been unfolding there for more than 2 hours, a scene that many are describing as chaotic right now. We are working to gather more information.
Yeah, I bet it is crazy. Now, y'all have those products stacked up like it's something out of World War Z. So as you saw, this beauty supply store that's located in the Clayton County area of Atlanta, shout out to Clayco, is currently being evicted. Now, what caused the eviction? Well, from what I'm hearing and from what's being reported online is that the owner passed away and nobody was really keeping up with the payments. I think it went to the son, and the son wasn't really keeping up with the bills. He fumbled the bag, and obviously they're currently being evicted. There was over $15,000 worth of unpaid back rent on this place, so an eviction was bound to happen from this. That's typically how evictions work. Now, a judge granted a right of possession to the store's landlord that led to this eviction, but what a lot of people didn't expect was for all of the products inside the store to be put outside the store on the street like it was a damn garage sale. But the crazy part about it is the massive crowd that formed like all around the parking lot as a result of this. Now listen, Clayton County, that's around 70% black, okay? It's black population. So black folk, they don't play when it comes to free shit or the possibility of free shit. And they definitely didn't in this situation. The second people found out this store was going out of business and that there was a possibility of getting free product, it was all she wrote. Now, the interesting part here is the way people lined up in the middle of the day thinking that they were about to get this stuff for free. I mean, you would have thought the Fountain of Youth was in one of those bundles, in one of those lace fronts. Now, here's where this whole thing gets weird. A lot of people thought that since all of these items were in the middle of the parking lot that they were free for the taking, but they were not. There were so many Clayton County cops around like the parking lot area that you would have thought a quadruple homicide took place there. And if that's not bad enough, they even had inmates from the county jail come and help to guard the stuff in the street so nobody would take it. Now, the sheriff, Levon Allen, said that the items weren't actually abandoned property and that they tried to reach out to the store's owner for comments, but they obviously couldn't get in contact with anyone. And they decided that instead of letting the people take the items, they would just take it all to a landfill and dump it. And to me, that just doesn't make any sense. Because if it's not abandoned property, then why on earth are you taking it to a landfill? It was well over like $300,000 worth of products that were loaded up and taken to a landfill. So the conversation here gets interesting because in a place like Atlanta, just using Atlanta as an example because we're talking about y'all right now, but in a place like Atlanta, you can have a business like this exploit the community where you have people spending billions of dollars annually, right? Just taking and taking and taking from the community. But in a situation like this where clearly nobody is looking after this stuff, the store is abandoned and this stuff would be better or would do better in the hands of the people, especially if no one else is claiming it. Those same people can't have it. Like, you can take their money though, but you can't have access to the free stuff when the store doesn't play their part to keep it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, y'all would rather waste taxpayer dollars to have inmates come and clean up the mess, take it all the way to a landfill where it needs to get processed and broken down and all that kind of stuff, than to just let the people have it where it would get some actual use. At least 85 to 90% of the mess that was there would have got cleaned up in seconds. Like, you couldn't let them get a comb. How about a bonnet, a loofah? How about some of those barrettes, like the barrettes with the balls on it? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? Nah, that's too much. I mean, they could have gave it to shelters, group homes. They could have gave it to a woman's group home, a woman's recovery home. I mean, there's so many different things that they could have did with all of this product and just sending it to a landfill just to be destroyed. Just a complete waste management fail right there, in my opinion. I mean, they literally had people waiting outside all day, waiting to see if they could get anything from this massive pile while the authorities were trying to get in contact with the owners or somebody, right? I mean, it was hours, like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in the Atlanta heat. People were sitting out there with chairs. I mean, they had plastic bags ready, shopping carts, everything. I mean, just some people had their trunks open, like people was ready. Now, I do see people out there in the comments huffing some serious laughing gas, talking about how people went there with their hands out, acting like they owed them something and that you should get your own shit and that, you look ghetto. And here's the problem with that argument to me. Those people were only there because they tossed all that stuff out there in the parking lot in the first place. Every single thing was out in the open. And obviously people spread the word that all of this stuff could possibly be for the taking. It was assumed to be free stuff. Nobody was looking for a handout in the first place with this situation, right? People were literally just going on with their day as usual. All of this just happened. People don't understand like how powerful word of mouth is, and multiply that with the power of social media, it only gets worse. So again, you expect a bunch of people to see products thrown out in the middle of the street to not at least inquire about it. And it's assumed that it's assumed that it's for the taking, right? Like, people are acting dense on purpose here just for the sake of being a contrarian, and it's ridiculous. But people were out there in droves, man. Just look. And people had a lot to say about this. I'll just let you hear a little bit of this, y'all. So just take a look.
About our crown, why not give back to the community and let us get the products? Let us get the tools, any other eviction.
Chopper video that we got hours earlier. Now, the sheriff's office did confirm deputies were carrying out an eviction, but that's all they would tell us. Now, what you're seeing here is piles of merchandise filling the parking lot, surrounded by law enforcement. County records tell us the Beauty Mart owner was evicted over $15,000 of back rent. Now, this is what we saw when we got on scene. Wigs, eyelashes, jewelry, and beauty supplies. And again, tons and tons of people. Now, when we arrived, people were continually asking why they couldn't take any of the stuff. Now, with law enforcement throwing yellow tape around that pile while also loading items onto their trucks. Here's how people out here describe the scene.
We like free stuff, so
I got my 2 baskets. I took the bus or whatever to get down here to get some free stuff.
we're already in a recession. Times are hard. Why not just let us get the items and invest and be okay?
Now listen, I do have to say this. I'm not going to be completely oblivious to the fact that if they did in fact let it be like a free for all, right? Like just like a mayhem, a big rugby scrum for the shit, you know, right there on the street, it would have been mayhem. Like there would be fights. Somebody would have probably gotten shot. The cops would literally not have had to do anything, right? Like they could have just let them, okay, y'all could take it. And then like they probably could have just stood there for like 10 minutes and then they would have just started arresting people because it would have been mayhem straight up. But this whole thing looks like a Dave Chappelle skit or something, like just crazy. If you in the Atlanta area, right? If you in the ATL, you in this area and you saw this firsthand, please let me know in the comments what you saw, because this is just insane. Now, the other part of this mass exodus that I have to talk about is the fact that yet another business was going out in the same way. And it's a business that I know people are very happy with, and that's a nightclub by the name of the Red Martini Lounge. And people were having a field day with it, and it happened on the same day.
Karis Belger live now in Buckhead.
And Karis, you spoke with people at Red Martini Lounge about what's going on there. What did you learn?
Well, it was quite the scene earlier before this truck was just behind me to help clear away some of the stuff that's left over. There were crowds of people picking up everything they could get their hands on. We spoke with a security guard who was here earlier, and when I spoke with police, they said they had not made any arrests. Now, according to court documents, there is $55,000 owed in back rent on this property. When earlier today we were here, people were coming and they were taking anything they could get their hands on. There were furniture, there were refrigerators, and yes, even bottles of alcohol. One of the security guards who was here said that people were here early in the morning, as early as 6 a.m., to start taking away the things that they could find. He described a little bit of the scene to us earlier.
It wasn't nailed down, people were taking it, and really it was about to be a riot, because it was a few people arguing about what was theirs and what wasn't yours. Sure. So at that point, it got to the point to where we had to call the police because it was out of control.
Man, I don't know what the hell is going on in Atlanta right now, but it must be a 2-for-1 sale on evictions, because they handed them out like dollar bills at a strip club.
Hey, yo. Hey, free licking this bitch. My boy right here, yeah. Yeah. Hey, I got right too.
Yo, Atlanta is not a real place, man. Y'all are ATLians for real, bruh. They said people were out there as early as 6 in the morning for this shit. I see bottles of Bacardi, gin, rum. Evictions are bad. I gotta say that. You definitely feel for people. You don't want anyone losing their business, obviously, especially in that way. But to those previous owners, your stuff is in good hands, I promise. Especially that liquor. People pulling up in droves for these eviction specials, and it's crazy.
You live in Atlanta without telling me you live in Atlanta. You're in Atlanta? I'll show you. He did find some. Hey, where you get them from? Oh, let me go get some. And they coming and they grabbing everything. Like, this is crazy.
Monday.
Crazy. Oh my God, this is crazy. This is crazy work. But yeah, APD here, they've been standing here literally watching people steal these people's shit. And now the news reporters, they're here too, as y'all can see, and people are still pulling up. All they have left is like furniture and stuff like that. But y'all, when I tell you, they have bottles, like top shelf bottles. Like, they took well over $100,000 worth of liquor and stuff. Like, they had TVs, they had like the whole entire club was vacated. But welcome to Atlanta.
Atlanta never ceases to amaze me, man. Now, it's unclear as to what else is being done with these buildings, but as of right now, you can't even get so much as a plastic bag out these places. People have ransacked these places like there was no tomorrow. I mean, it sounds like people in Atlanta hit the damn jackpot yesterday. Listen, you know, I do see some people kind of in their feelings when it comes to saying things like, you know, it's not right, and, you know, store owners should sue the people stealing, and it's not technically free and all that shit. And listen, these places are being evicted because they are not doing what they're supposed to do for whatever reason. And 9 times out of 10, it's because they aren't paying their rent. Like, we all know what an eviction is. I've never been evicted out of anything, but I've been around people who have, and I've seen it, and it sucks. But at the end of the day, it takes months for it to get to the point where they're throwing your stuff out on the street like this. Like, something like this doesn't just happen overnight. There is a series of steps that take place before it even gets to this. And at any point in the process, this kind of thing can be stopped. And the fact of the matter is, it's now fair game to the public, especially if they're just going to throw it on the street like it's trash. So it is what it is. People out there grabbing all types of bottles. My man was grabbing a bottle of sake. I bet you he never even drank it a day in his life, but free is free. I bet you he'll drink it today. Now, something that's interesting to me, just an observation, is that they let people take the liquor and all that, but didn't want them to have the hair and all the beauty supply stuff. Very interesting. I just thought that was interesting. It's wild because I feel like something like this happening in Atlanta is pretty common. Like businesses come and go all the time, but this should speak to how bad the economy is right now. Like, because from what I've seen looking into this, it sounds like there are more evictions to come. From what I've seen, it's about 89 units that's being evicted in this week, all in the Midtown area. So be on the lookout because the city of Atlanta is about to be on fire. And this is the one time that I'm glad I'm not in Atlanta because it would probably drive me crazy. Traffic is already atrocious down there, so I can only imagine what it's like when these evictions start popping off. But y'all stay safe out there. This whole situation went viral, and I had to talk about it because, like I said, I've been to Atlanta a few times. Awesome food, a smidgen, a little bougie for my taste sometimes, but you know, I think Keith Lee kind of exposed that. So I'm not even gonna go into that. But if you made it this far in the video, don't forget to smack a like, and also don't forget to subscribe for the one time. Peace.